On the line now, a major winner from last month's election, the courageous and always outspoken Queensland Senator Pauline Hanson. Pauline, welcome to the Super Radio Network, but more importantly, congratulations.
Chris, thank you. And your kind words, my God, I'm a bit embarrassed. Thank you.
Bit by bit, all the Hard Yaker, and you've got to go back to the very beginning to think about the Hard Yaker that you've put in. But it all accumulates, and this is the beginning, and it's beginning to materialise in real results and real influence, isn't it?
I think it is, Chris. I hope that's the case. You know, I've had some knocks along the way, and it hasn't been easy. It's been a hell of a bloody battle.
Yeah. And
to actually be out of politics for 18 years and out of the party for 13 years and come back and build a party from 2015, put the hard work and just only a few people, not even half a dozen, only a few of us that actually restarted the whole lot again. It was defunct. There was nothing there. Had to rebuild it. And the work and effort had to go into rebuild the party from 2015 and you know, then have members of parliament walk away, and then the constitution issue, and then the court cases, and it just seems to never end. And you know, and New South Wales having Mark Latham and Tanya Mahalik and Rod Roberts walk away from the party, it's just a kick in the guts all the time. Sometimes I think, what the hell am I here for? Why am I doing this? And that's what my family and friends say to me. And then I just sort of think, you know, I can't just walk away because I can see the state of the country. And I thought people aren't getting a fair shake. They're not being told the truth, and they're told lies constantly all the time. That's why I keep fighting the decent people on the floor of Parliament to fight for the people.
And the great part about your results is that you now got representation from states outside of Queensland, which is great.
Yeah, look, it is really good because there's a lot of issues going on in each state, and I think having that representation, but also it means that we're expanding, we've got more people, and rather than just Malcolm and I doing the work on the floor of Parliament and holding the government to account, you know, we've got those extra couple, and of course with it comes the staff and the resources and just, you know, gives us more of an opportunity to raise the questions, to speak up on behalf of the people and show what we can do.
Before we talk about the individuals coming on board, and they're all got their own incredible personalities, what will this mean for contentious bills arriving in the Senate?
Chris, to tell the people and you honestly, we can't do a damn thing. We can't stop it. We haven't got the numbers. The coalition did poorly at the election.
Yeah.
The Labor Party have the numbers, plus also with the Greens to support bills. Unless the Greens don't want to support Labor Party, they're going to hold them to ransom. And so then it comes down to whether the coalition supports them. But it means that we can actually try to hold them to account.
Yep.
You know, ask those questions at Senate estimates, speaking about the issues on the floor in Parliament and informing the public. People are so out of touch with politics. They don't know what the hell's going on. They walk in the polling booth. They don't know why they're voting for that person or who they're voting for, and it's just ridiculous, and that's why we're in such a state that we are. I want people to be better informed, understand what's going on, because you're putting people in there who are running your household, telling you how to live your life, and you're taking no interest.
Yeah, I sense, though, that it also puts you in a stronger position to make sensible, common-sense amendments to bills as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it also allows us to put up our own private members' bills. We call for Senate inquiries into certain issues or topics, which we do, and which I have done in the past. So this will actually give us a leeway then to move forward if we do our job properly for the people. At the next election, you know, they'll give us their vote again, and we'll get more people elected to Parliament, which then I hope will grow from there.
Tell us about WA's Tyron Witten.
Tyron Witten is in his late 40s. He's actually a businessman. He started a business with his brother years ago, and it's in civil concrete.
Oh, isn't it great to have someone with a real job walk into Parliament?
Yeah, well, what he did, he sold his half share to his brother in 2023. They employed 1,000 people. They moved across in industries, plus also the mining sector. So very successful businessman, very level-headed. You know, he's not out there ranting, raving, carrying on. He just assesses situation. Then he says when he needs to speak, he'll speak. And so I think he's got a lot to offer, and experience and knowledge in the business sector, I think, that we need.
And the New South Wales One Nation Senator Warwick Stacey, one of his comrades in politics, Kerry, and one of my listeners told us a little bit about Warwick. Wow, what a self-made person.
Well, he is. He's basically a military background, and he was in the military in England because he's married to an English lady, and he was over there for about 8 years, so he worked in the military over there. Then he came back to Australia, and he was in the reserves here. Then he was in Commando and the SAS, and he's been involved in a consultation with the military on a private matter, as a private person, but he's very passionate about the military. And he's speaking the other day about the waste of money that's gone into these decisions with either helicopters or other equipment they've bought. They've just been abandoned, walked away. They buried those helicopters. What an absolute waste of money. So I don't believe there's anyone else on that floor of the Parliament in the Senate with the knowledge and experience of military background as what Warwick has. So he'll be able to actually call the government to account and ask them questions and raise the issues that are important. Hopefully, the media will pick it up because it's all based on the media, if they want to pick up an issue and then report on it. But the media have been so biased towards One Nation for years now.
Yeah, against,
and that's why I thank you for your support to give us that platform to have raise these issues.
Well, this is the perfect segue. You talk about Warwick Stacey's military background. That's the perfect segue into the front page stories on both the Herald and the Australian today. On America, basically saying to the Australian government, lift your game. You've got to get 3% of GDP on defence. Do you understand what's happening in your backyard?
Correct. Exactly right. And see, there's no one really with authority that understands it apart from Andrew Hastie, and we never see or hear really that much from Andrew.
No.
I don't believe we do. We don't hear enough from him.
No.
Maybe in his role now he might. But you tell me who else is there? Really has the experience apart from the Labor Party. The Labor Party have let it slide. Unless we build up our defence, and Chris, the big issue here that I've heard over the years, we need to look after our personnel, defence personnel. They've been left, to look after themselves. And we're expecting these people to put their lives on the line, but we don't look after them after they come out of defence. Yes,
and there's a link, Pauline, there's a link between that and the fact that we can't get recruits, because in these, military families, the word spreads about how bad Pop is being looked after, and then young Johnny says, well, I'm not going to join up.
Yeah, that's right. And, of course, the administration in the military, what I've heard, is atrocious. And this is why they don't like it and they don't want to go and join up to the military. And we need these people. We need their dedication, their heartfelt for the country to actually want to go out and defend and fight for us, because a lot of Australians out there wouldn't dare take up arms to defend their own home. And that's how I feel about it. I think our whole society has become lackadaisy. They couldn't care less. They don't
Self-obsessed, maybe.
What's going on.
Self-obsessed as well, maybe, Pauline.
Correct. I think they are. A lot of people are self-obsessed, obsessed, and they've followed, the Greens, we don't need war. No one wants war, but you've got to be prepared for it if it ever touches our shores. And you don't think that China are just sitting back doing absolutely nothing, or these other countries around the world, and think that we're going to live in peace for the rest of our lives. You're stupid if you think that way. And it's just being prepared and knowing what to do if that case happens. And you've got to put the money into defence, so that if it ever happens, we are going to be able to do something. We're not going to be able to fight them off nowhere in the wide world. That's why we need America.
Yeah, we've got a token defence force, and we've always relied on America to come and hold our hand and get us through. You can't trust Donald Trump to be able to do that anymore, and he's indicated that we need to do our bit to get up to 3%. I'd be interested to take some calls on that from listeners, whether we should be acquiescing to what has been demanded in the summit in Singapore and taking up 3% of GDP or not. 13, 12, 69. A couple of quick things. I sense that we're reaching a degree of climate common sense or climate realism finally in this country. I hope that's one of your frontline agendas when you get back to Parliament.
Chris, definitely it is and always have been. And I've been the only one that's really been up front pushing it, that we're against this net zero and to get out the Paris Agreement. And that's why I keep pushing the Liberal National Party, which have to come in line, because they know that we're taking a lot of their votes. Because most people out there know it's a scam. but they can't do anything about it. They don't know what to do about it. Yeah. And there has not been enough put on to the Labor government of the science backing all this. What's the cost to the Australian people?
Yes.
When you've got $1.7 billion that's leaving the country in subsidies to these foreign companies that are coming out here, setting themselves up, and the money's leaving the country, and that's $1.7 billion of money out of the pockets of households and businesses paying for their electricity costs that keep going up and up. We're destroying our economy and our industries and manufacturing and our farming sector for what? Yeah. The people need to really realise what the hell's going on here. You've been hoodwinked, you've been scammed, you're still being ripped off by these companies, and it's a real shame that people just don't realise the world's not coming to an end. Climate change is happening naturally, but it's something we can never stop. Pouring money and paying more money in taxes is going to stop it. That money's going into the pockets of very wealthy people.
Yeah, and the science is unequivocal. No matter what we do in this country, we cannot change the temperature of the planet. If that's what the kids think from what they've been told in the classroom, they too have been conned, Pauline.
They are being conned, and it's not only climate change. We're talking about the whole woke agenda, the way our kids are being brainwashed. Their educational system is in the toilet. What they're being taught, how they're being taught. Our professionals are not up to scratch. There's so many issues, Chris, that I will be bringing to the floor of Parliament.
Good.
Family law is another passionate issue about mine, to really understand what is happening out there. These parents are losing control or losing their children, can't see them. The courts are just taking over. And
you've just slipped something in there that I wanted to pick up. You've just slipped in and said that people who have been supportive of the coalition have come over to us and supported us. That's certainly been the case with the results in WA and New South Wales, surely.
It has been. A lot of people now who've never considered giving preferences to one nation are actually got us on the radar. It's been a lot of work in trying to get a message out. But, Chris, we put out decent common sense policies in February about aged people being able to work and veterans without affecting pensions, income splitting, which you need to actually help people. We're the highest tax country, in the world. And what we pay in taxes, you pay your taxes along the way, PAYE tax. Then the money you've got left in your pocket, you're paying tax again on 10% everything that you services and what you buy. It's just ridiculous. And then all these states, local governments and states and everything, the amount of money they're getting out of you in taxes, it's taxed time and time again. People are living in poverty and it's getting worse all the time. We need to rein in our government spending, whether it's local, state or federal. Rein in the spending, then put more money back into people's pockets and get infrastructure going, productivity up. It can be done, but this government, the only way this government looks at is socialism, and that's where we're headed. More handouts, giving people more money, handing it out to them without providing anything for it. And we've got this mental attitude now, people, you owe us, just pay us. Free student loans. Who's paying for it?
Yeah, exactly. One last question. Has the Prime Minister of the country called to congratulate you personally, Pauline?
I won't hold my breath, Chris. So that's never going to happen. And I'll be honest, I never rang and congratulated him either.
Fair enough. Pauline, thank you very much for your time. All the very best.
All right, thanks, Chris.
Good on you. Pauline Hanson, now being represented with seats in the Senate from WA and also New South Wales. At the very least, it's a chance to keep the bees honest and on top of that, make amendments that are sensible to bills that come before the Senate that are clearly one way and ill thought through. So hopefully that is the case. Now, in terms of taxes, just on what Pauline said about being the most taxed in the world, we're not the most taxed country in the world, to be perfectly honest. We are in the top 30, though. We are on the top 30 of the most taxed nations in the world. But if they go ahead with the super tax, that will change and we'll rocket up into the top 10. You can bet on it.